So today for the news, we're looking at some of the films that played at Toronto International Film Festival last week. Now, TIFF has kind of become a really good kind of hunting ground for horror that will be coming up in the next year. So today we're looking at 5 different films that have played at TIFF and kind of looking at how the critics have looked at them and then what the fate of them has been. So first up is the one that everybody has been talking about, and this is Lords of Salem, Rob Zombie's new film. This film has been incredibly polarizing in its reviews that it's gotten from TIFF, where even within the horror media, some people have said that it's absolutely beautiful, arty, hallucinogenic, and a lot of other horror sites have said that, it's too arty, and it's Rob Zombie trying to, make a very pretentious film that he's just not ready for. I know one site I read even compared it to if Rob Zombie was trying to be Roman Polanski. So it's been really a mix of ups and downs. So I'm still excited to see it. I know most Rob Zombies fans are still salivating to see this one. Well, luckily, it got distribution. Anchor Bay has picked it up, so we should have some release information soon. Next up, we have ABCs of Death, and this is another one that horror fans have been really intrigued by. This is 26 different films. It's an anthology film. It's an anthology series of films, actually. 26 different filmmakers doing this. It's also gotten mixed reviews. A lot of people are comparing it to VHS, where some of the films in it are top-notch, really hold it together, and other ones just kind of seem like they're fleshing out the time in between the good ones. But at the same time, most of the reviews I've read definitely say that horror fans should check it out. Even though that it's got some not-so-good films in it, it's worth it for the great ones.
Now, Becca, what have some of the fans said about the T? Wasn't that the one that was the contest?
I have not heard about the T yet.
Toilet.
Tell me.
That one was won. That was won by a claymation animator, and it's beautiful. But that one was available before. But the reason I just interrupted was because I think there's a great film that me and Stacey both love called A Mare.
Yes.
And everyone's been saying that the directors of that have one of the best ones. Them, Adam Wingard, and maybe the guy who made Hobo with a Shotgun are 3 of the ones I've heard really great things about their segments.
Oh, beautiful. So. I mean, it kind of reminds me a little bit of Paris Chatham, which was also an amalgamation of many different filmmakers working on the same theme. Very short, a lot of different films, though. So maybe for the horror art set.
In the defense of the people making
something
it,
for everybody.
It's cool that they gave them complete artistic freedom.
Yes.
Yeah, they did.
It might hurt the film, who knows? But you have 5 minutes and a letter, go. I mean, that's pretty cool.
I think it's a great idea.
It definitely makes me curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the list of people involved in this project, both the directors, the producers, and the actors and actresses in these things, is absolutely amazing. You should definitely check out the film. Just read the IMDb page. It sounds just wonderful to see the people who are involved. Next up, we have Aftershock, produced by Eli Roth. And the plot behind this one is an American tourist is traveling in Chile when an earthquake happens, and a prison gets messed up in the earthquake, and all of the prisoners break out and kind of go on a wave of violence throughout the area where this tourist is. Most of the reviews on this have been more on the negative side, saying that it really quickly goes from a good disaster flick into a bad torture porn. But some people have been saying that it does have really good effects, that it is really intense, and that it does have really good gore. This has already been picked up by Dimension, so that makes a little sense if it's a little bit more on the intense side. Fourth film we have up this week from TIFF is The Bay, and this is one that I cannot wait to see because the plot sounds really, really cool. It's directed by Barry Levinson, who was kind of one of the kings of the 80s with Rain Man and Good Morning Vietnam and Toys and a ton of other films. He's back directing The Bay, which is a found footage horror film. What the praise has been about this is even though that it's found footage, it's a very different style of presenting found footage where it's not just one style of found footage, the whole thing. It jumps. It's a cell phone video. It then goes to a video camera. It then goes to security footage. So it jumps all around. And all of these cameras are mixed together to tell the story about a parasite that invades a coastal town in Maryland. Supposedly, it's incredibly gory because the parasite actually eats people from the inside out. And this one has gotten really positive reviews across the board. It's already been picked up by Lionsgate. And then the last one that we're going to talk about tonight is Here Comes the Devil. This is a Mexican horror flick. It's directed by the same person who did Penumbra last year. And the story is, while on vacation in the Tijuana Hills, children Adolfo and Sarah wander away from their parents and never return. Their parents are fretting, they go home, they're, mourning the loss of their children, when suddenly their children return. But they don't return as themselves. They return completely different. This is another one that has gotten rave reviews pretty much across the board. I've read very few negative ones about this. I know on Fangoria, we gave it a 4 out of 4. Chris Alexander absolutely loved it. And this one is slated for distribution from MPI.
Yeah, it looks fun. His previous films have always had a tone of comedy to the horror, which maybe didn't capture me quite as much, but you could tell he had chops, so I'll be curious if this is a straight horror film.
Yeah, and I've heard that the filming on this is really different. Elric, I know we were talking about this before the show began, where supposedly it's the camera is very fluid, constantly moving around, whip pans, turns, the camera just follows people without stopping. So
sounds fun.
I'm kind of excited to see that.